Chapter 32. "Can we trust him?" Jim said, rubbing his hand roughly against his whiskered cheeks. Jake was crouched between Buddy and Jesse, with Jim taking up the rear, waiting behind the row of dumpsters at the back of the hotel for Zed's signal. "We don't have a choice," Jake snapped. "Are you still bleeding?" Jesse asked, eyeing Jake's side. "It's fine. You patched it up and it stopped bleeding. Quit thinking about me and get your mind on what's about to go down." Jake was tense and coiled. "Ready." And Zed was going to take them in through the kitchen and escort them to the suite upstairs, promising to act as a decoy if needed. In return, he wanted to leave with them. As much as Jake wanted to go in with guns blazing and kill every single last one of the bikers, stealth was the only way he knew he could get Mac out safely, and failure was not an option. When Zed's arm stuck through the kitchen door, waving an empty garbage bag, they sprang to life, running for the back entry. "They haven't brought the women down yet, but everyone's heading to the ballroom to hear Gemma announce the lottery," Zed said, motioning them into the stainless steel industrial space. "We can take the service elevator." Jake handed Zed their only spare weapon, a small hand pistol. "Know how to use this?" Zed nodded, and Jim glared first at Jake, then at the kid. "Don't make us regret giving that to you," Jesse muttered. The five of them crowded in front of the doors to the elevator, going over Zed's directions for the 5th floor. Jake needed them to shut up and do the job. His skin was crawling with suppressed anticipation. He needed Mackenzie back in his arms. "Ah, shit." Zed inhaled, eyes trained on the lit-up floor numbers. "There's someone coming down." "What? Fuck! I just pushed the button to make it stop," Buddy cried. "What do we do?" Zed asked, wide-eyed. "I'm not getting shot in the back as I run away," Jake declared, widening his stance and raising his AR-15. Shoulder to shoulder, the others did the same. "No hesitation. Shoot to kill," he instructed, voice firm. The ding of the elevator arriving was innocuously cheery. Jake's finger twitched on the trigger as the door began sliding open. Inhale. Fire on the exhale. He breathed deep. Blood thundered in his ears. "Jake!" "Stop!" Jake's shout was hoarse, ravaged. He staggered backward. "Caroline!" Jim surged forward, knocking Maggie as he clutched his wife. "Oh God, Caro!" Mackenzie blinked at Jake, steady hands pointing a Glock at his chest. "Whoa! Mac, it's okay!" He raised his hands, reaching for her. "Come on, baby! Come out here to me!" Slowly, she lowered the pistol before launching herself into his arms. Her shoulders shook with sobs, and he held her tight, tighter. It was hard to breathe around his heart and his throat. "She's hurt. We need help," Jim roared, oblivious to the noise he was making. Jake looked up to see him patting Caroline feverishly, looking for the source of the blood. Jesus Christ. Caroline was covered in it. How was she still standing? He pried Mackenzie's reluctant body from his, setting her away so he could see her properly. "Are you hurt?" Terror bled through his question. "I'm fine. She's fine. We need to go." Mackenzie's eyes were wild, her breathing choppy. "Do you have your inhaler?" he asked, prepared to carry her out if necessary. "I'm fine," she repeated impatiently. "How do we get out of here?" Her urgency finally registered through his euphoria. They weren't safe yet. "This way," Zed said, starting forward. As a tight group, they ran for the exit, Jesse and Buddy carrying Maggie between them. Bursting through the door into the night, Jim took the lead, directing them to where they'd left the truck. "Go! Go!" Jim urged, almost stumbling as he looked over his shoulder at the hotel. At any moment, Jake expected the night to erupt in gunfire. He tugged on Mackenzie's hand, urging her to run faster. And then they were there. The truck parked inconveniently beneath the bright spotlight of a street lamp. Jesse and Buddy helped Maggie into the bed of the truck and jumped in after her, while Jim pushed Caroline into the front passenger seat. I can still come, right?" Zed's hand was on Jake's arm, grasping. "Please say you'll take me with you." "Get in the truck, kid," he replied gruffly. Jim drove to the outskirts of Dutton, putting distance between them and the gang, and outrunning the glow from the street lamps. The craving to disappear into the darkness was deep in Jake. and he suspected Jim felt the same. "What happened back there? How did you get away?" Jake asked. "And if that's not your blood, Caroline, whose is it?" It's a long story," Mackenzie interrupted. "Let's not go over it now." The truck slowed and then stopped, idling on an asphalt road that had petered to gravel. Jim asked, "Where to?" Jake looked at Zed. "Any ideas?" "Sanford. We're going back to Sanford," Caroline cried. "My kids." "Honey, we can't go back," Jim said somberly. "Not now. We'll get the kids, but we can't go back now." "Oh, God." Mackenzie leaned forward. "Gemma wants the whiskey from the distillery. They're definitely going back to Sanford." Caroline's anguished sobs filled the truck, and Mackenzie burrowed her head against Jake's chest. He pulled at her until she was sitting across his lap, her hammering heart beating against his. The truck shifted as Jesse jumped from the back, making his way to Jim's window. "That farmhouse isn't far from here, the one we went to after we got away from them last time." He looked at Jake. "It's only about a mile away, right?" "Yeah, good idea. It's far enough away to avoid detection, and they've already looted out this way. Hopefully there's no reason for them to come back." "Do you think they'll look for us?" Mackenzie asked, lifting her tear-stained face to him. "Maybe, but they don't know we were there with a truck. They'll think you're on foot and shouldn't search too far from the hotel. We need to get Maggie somewhere I can look at her. I think she has a concussion," Jesse said. "Jake, can you direct Jim?" Jake nodded, and they started off again, slower this time because Jim wasn't risking using the truck's headlights to show the way. He was lightheaded with relief when the red-roofed farmhouse materialized out of the darkness. "Think anyone's home?" Jim asked, cutting the ignition. "Not sure, we didn't think so," Jake answered, searching the front of the house for any sign of habitation. Jesse appeared again at Jim's window. "Wait here and I'll scout it," he said, running off on light feet. Jim turned to look at Zed, who'd made himself small and unobtrusive in the back seat. "Hope this stray is as helpful as that one." Jake had a good feeling about Zed, but knew the kid would have to earn their trust. In the meantime, Jim would keep a sharp eye on him. "It's clear," Jesse called, jogging back. "We'll be along in a bit," Jake called, as the others made their way inside. He sat in the back seat with Mackenzie in silence, watching the glow of a flashlight come from inside the house. "Jake, Wait, I need to apologize. I've been stupid. So fucking stupid." Jake turned Mackenzie until she was straddling him and he could cup her face with his hands, his thumbs running over her cheeks. "I'm so sorry, babe. For everything." "It's not your fault, is it?" Her pained confusion slayed him. "You were right. You didn't need my protection. You needed my support. And what's worse, I trusted Townsend over you," he admitted. You told Townsend about the meeting at the distillery." She stiffened, her hands dropping from his forearms. "What? No. Of course not. Why would you think that?" Now he was confused. "Jesus, Mac. Why would you think that? I might not have agreed with what they said at the meeting, but I would never have betrayed everyone. Betrayed you." "How did he know about it then?" "Trent and Gavin. Assholes," he spat. "Oh." She softened again, her thighs molding over his and her face clearing. "So, Sanford. We can't go back?" "Not at the moment, no." "I wish we had Dex." Her shoulders slumped. "You could probably go back, though," she whispered. "If you snuck in, Townsend might still trust you." "Mac, I'm not going anywhere without you ever again. And you can't think I'd support Townsend after this." "Before, you were on his side." "Before, I was stupid. Now I'm on your side." He brought his lips to hers, so close he didn't know who was inhaling and who was exhaling. "You still love me," she breathed. "Always." "Even though I don't have deodorant and I smell?" "Yes, babe." "And now that we have no toothpaste?" "Yes, babe." "You know I love you, right?" "About time you admitted it." He grinned, slanting smiling lips over hers. She opened for him, their tongues tangling and their souls realigning. Because this was everything. Nothing else mattered.